Hello, my name is Eric Brock. This is my 1973 Toyota Landcruiser FJ55 that I have for sale. I've had it for about a year now, and when I got it, it was in quite a bit of disrepair. And so my goal with the car was to bring it up to mechanical spec while maintaining the cosmetic elements in order to create a good running car. So now we're going to walk through and kind of show you exactly what I've done to the car, and to help you get a better understanding of what you're looking to buy. As you can see, the car's got a lift. The previous owner put on the lift. It's a 4-inch lift utilizing springs and a shackle lift. And so I like the way it looks. I think it's a perfect stance for the car. The shackles are a bit long for my taste, but they do the job. 33 1250 tires, nearly brand new with about 1,500 miles on them. Of course they're on the stock steel wheels. As you can see, there's some patch panels here. All those are just coverings. They're not actual inserted metal plates. They're riveted to the rocker. Underneath there, when I got it, was pretty heavy rust, so I cleaned the rust out and I treated it with some etching primer, and then I covered them with those plates to just seal them and give a nice presentation. While we're on the subject of rust, there are a couple rust issues. One is here. So this piece will need to either be repaired or replaced. And then we have some down here in the door. There is some as well in these rear corners on both sides, which is pretty typical of 55s. Very repairable. Lots of people do them. It's not something too difficult. And it's in both corners. There's again a little bit of rust here in the door. Patch panel was made to fix that as well. But the rest of the car is fairly rust-free except for the roof. The roof is a really terrible portion of the car. The roof has really just been eaten away by rust. And what I was going to do is I was just going to cut the roof completely off and do a roof conversion to another factory roof and install it. I have the roof available. If you're interested, there's a lot of people that want the roof by itself, but if I'm willing to sell the roof with the car, for the right price, of course. And it would be a huge, thing to do to the car. It'll immediately increase the value, and it really needs to be done. Interior-wise, it's all stock and original. It's never been monkeyed with or broken or anything. When I got the car, it was missing quite a few pieces and knobs, and I've sourced and found those pieces and put it back together. The seats, I covered this one with a towel. It's just loosely on there, but they are pretty well torn up and abused. And the driver one here, the springs are definitely worn out. Factory floor mats, the rubber mats. What I did is I went in and I completely stripped the floor and sandblasted the floor and painted it with an etching primer as well as some Rust-Oleum enamel paint. The reason for that was to keep it from rusting any more than it already does. And the rust in the floor is actually pretty minimal. And I performed that all the way from the firewall back to the back where the rear seat is. Like I said, dash is all original, it's all there, and everything works, all the electricals work. Windows are all there, door panels are all there, and they all work. And the doors actually close pretty solidly. The headliner's falling out of this car. The previous owner was trying to figure out how to fix the roof, and he started taking the headliner out, and decided that it wasn't something he wanted to do. So I've just pulled out all the stuff that's really falling down and just maintained it. You can pull it out the rest of the way or replace it when you do the roof. Okay, the motor's all original. It's an original F motor. I went through and resealed the motor, so it's been completely stripped down to the block, resealed wherever I could reseal it, and everything was scrubbed, scraped and painted so that it made a nice presentation. I also went through and replaced the water pump, so it's got a new water pump, new thermostat housing, new points, cap, rotor, spark plug wires, of course. It's got a new radiator in it. The carburetor's been gone through. All the fuel lines are new, and the tank's been rotted out as well. It's a really good running truck. I did a conversion on it. I converted it over to a header style exhaust, and I used a mana-free 6-to-1 header. It's an old school style header, but it works really well. It's got a custom 2.5-inch exhaust that goes all the way to the back, utilizing a MagnaFlow muffler. Sounds really good. While we're up here, you'll see it's got a new brake master cylinder, rebuilt clutch master cylinder, rebuilt brake booster, but everything's still original. It's all factory the way it came. That's why I like this car so much, is because when I got it, everything hadn't been touched. The original owner bought it out of Culver City, and he used it on a orange orchard in Redlands. The car was never registered for the road until the 90s, when his wife wanted to drive it. So, but he didn't do any maintenance on it, and so when I got it, it still had the original plugs and wires in it, still from the factory. They said Toyota on them. So it was in quite a bit of disrepair, and by the time I drove it home from LA, the motor was only running on about 4 cylinders, so it needed quite a bit of work. I chased down a bunch of fuel issues. I've rebuilt that carburetor 2 or 3 times since November, just because it was giving me a whole lot of problems. So if you're a Toyota guy, you know that they're somewhat finicky. But now I got it all sorted out. Like I said, new parts, new alternator as well, so that's brand new. And it runs really good. Here, I'll start it up for you real quick. Exhaust, it's got a really unique tone. It's a great running truck. Original 3-speed in it with the 2-speed transfer case. Shifts smooth, shifts great. Never have any issues, doesn't pop out of any gears. Front and rear ends have all been gone through, resealed. The front end is a disc brake conversion, and we'll talk about that next. It's a good truck. I bought a 76 Landcruiser as a donor vehicle, and if you may know, the 76 Landcruiser FJ55s came with a factory disc brake option. The car that I bought did. So I pulled it out and I put it in here. I went through the entire disc brake front end. New seals, rebuilt the knuckles with all new bearings, new felts, new brake rotors, new calipers, and of course new pads. Also, you can see that I've replaced the tie rod ends. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but the tie rod ends have been replaced. Tightened up the steering quite a bit. I also installed custom-made stainless steel braided brake lines, flex lines, both front and rear, and on the knuckles. They're all new. The car stops so much better than it used to now. I'd like to thank you for watching my video. I appreciate your interest. If it is something that you're interested in learning more about, feel free to either blog up here on the video site or give me a phone call. My phone number is 714-488-2100. I'll also put that in the details just in case you missed it. The asking price for the car right now currently with the roof is $7,000, but I am negotiable. And if the roof goes to another owner, then the price will drop, of course. But feel free to contact me, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.